Every time you step onto a plane, you're placing your trust in this huge, complex system that you can't even see. It's a whole world of people working in some pretty tough environments, surrounded by hidden dangers, all to make sure you're safe. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and dive right into their world, the world of aircraft maintenance.
And we're talking about a specific group of people. Aircraft maintenance engineers, or AMEs. Think of them as the unsung heroes of aviation. They're out there around the clock in all kinds of weather, making sure every single part of that aircraft is ready to fly. It's incredibly precise work, super demanding, and it all happens in some seriously challenging places.
All right, so to really get what they do, we have to go where passengers never go. We're heading beyond the gate and right into their workspace. And you'll see, it's a world of total contrasts, and it has its own unique set of risks.
So, an engineer's world is basically split in two. On one hand, you've got line maintenance. This is the work that happens right out on the tarmac next to active aircraft, totally exposed to whatever the weather decides to do that day. And then you have base maintenance. This happens inside, in the relative comfort of hangars and workshops. But each one of these environments, it brings its own distinct challenges to the table.
Let's start with one of the most obvious hazards, but also one of the most constant ones an engineer faces every single day. We're talking about the overwhelming, incredible power of sound.
Just to give you a little perspective, being exposed to sound over 115 decibels, even for a really short time, is a huge no-no without protection. And what's 115 decibels? Well, that's pretty much the noise level you get standing right next to a moving jet. For these engineers, that's just another day at the office.
But, noise isn't just about how loud something is. It's really any unwanted sound, something that's loud, unpleasant, and just plain distracting. It's the kind of sound that can totally shatter your concentration and cause a lot of stress. And while sure, our brains are pretty good at filtering out some background chatter, the constant roar of an airfield is, well, it's on a completely different level.
This isn't just about being annoyed. It is a direct threat to safety. A wall of sound like that can completely block critical communication between team members. It can drown out warning alarms, and over time, it can cause permanent hearing damage. In this world, noise isn't just in the background. It's an active, relentless risk.
But as dangerous as all that noise is, some of the biggest threats an engineer faces aren't the ones you can hear. They're the ones you can't even see.
This question really gets to the core of the next major hazard. A roaring engine is an obvious threat, right? You can see it, you can hear it, but the silent, invisible presence of chemical fumes, that can be just as dangerous, if not more so.
Think about it. Aircraft maintenance involves a whole cocktail of chemicals. On any given day, an engineer could be working with lubricants, powerful hydraulic fluids, paints, all kinds of cleaning compounds, and, of course, jet fuel and its exhaust. And every single one of these can release fumes into the air.
And here's the part that's really insidious. We instinctively rely on our sense of smell to warn us about danger, right? But many of these chemical vapors are completely odorless, so an engineer could be breathing in harmful stuff with absolutely no warning at all.
The number one danger here is inhalation. Just breathing these things in can have serious health effects, but it doesn't stop there. These fumes can also cause major eye irritation, which makes it even harder for an engineer to focus on their incredibly detailed work.
And this is where the work environment can make a bad situation so much worse. Engineers often have to work in really tight, confined spaces, like inside a fuel tank, for instance. With basically zero ventilation, those fumes have nowhere to go. They just build up, becoming more and more concentrated, and turn a risky job into a critically dangerous one.
So when you're faced with these constant, often invisible threats, how do the people who protect us in the air protect themselves on the ground? Well, it all comes down to a really rigorous culture of safety.
Yeah, that is the essential question, isn't it? The industry has developed some really solid protocols to handle these risks. It's a mix of smart practices, technology, and just constant awareness.
Okay, I love this. It's a simple, super practical test called the rule of thumb for noise. All you do is have two engineers stand about 2 meters apart and try to talk normally. If they can't hear each other clearly, that's it. It's an instant signal that the noise is hazardous and hearing protection is mandatory. Simple, effective, and it literally saves their hearing.
And for fumes, the approach is just as systematic. The very first step is always to get more air flowing, increase the ventilation. If that's not enough, or if they're in a confined space, they have to use a breathing apparatus. And this part is crucial. There's a strict protocol. If anyone detects noxious fumes, they report it immediately, and the whole area is evacuated until it's safe again.
But at the end of the day, while all this protective gear is absolutely vital, True safety comes from something even more fundamental: clear communication. It means making sure you have those critical conversations about a really complex task or a shift handover away from the noise. It's totally non-negotiable because just one simple misunderstanding could break the entire safety chain.
So, the next time you're on a plane, looking out the window at what seems like organized chaos on the tarmac, just remember all those invisible dangers being managed down there. The noise, the fumes, the incredible pressure. The safety of your flight really does begin right there, in that challenging environment. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Will you ever see the tarmac the same way again?